Okay, first of all, a word of thanks that you survived so long so far.
Najprej beseda zahvale, da ste tako dolgo preživeli do zdaj.
And so we come to a final, and I intended this message to go specifically to reach your hearts, not your minds.
Želim si, da to sporočilo, to zadnje sporočilo doseže predvsem vaše srce, ne toliko vaš
So, the case study of the most evil person and how he gets justification.
Primer najbolj zlobnega človeka in kako ta dobi opravičenje.
The assurance of salvation on the day of judgment.
Gotovo zveličanja na dan sodbe.
Do you know this person?
Poznate to osebo? Nekateri? Kdo pozna?
Especially the younger generation, probably more.
Mlajši verjetno bolj kot starejši. Ja.
His name is Gru.
Njegovo ime je Gru.
This is a different picture of him.
To je drugačna slika njegova.
He is also known by the name of Mr. Despicable.
Znan je tudi pod imenom gospod Baraba.
Okay, you have a word for it.
Ja.
He is a villain, a proper one.
On je zlobnež in to ta pravi zlobnež.
He likes to plot evil things.
Rad načrtuje zlobne stvari.
He's grumpy.
Je tako namrščen.
And he's not very nice to people.
In ni posebej prijazen do ljudi.
And he is the best in the business of doing evil.
In je najboljši v poslu delanja zla.
And in order to remain in the business as number one evildoer,
In če želi ostati v tem poslu kot številka 1,
he is prepared to even steal the moon.
je pripravljen ukrasti celo luno.
You can read the text.
Zdaj bomo ukradli, potem pauza za učinek, luno. In ko bo luna enkrat moja, mi bo svedal, karkoli bom želel, da jo vrnem nazaj. In jaz bom največji zlobnež vseh časov. O tem govorim.
And of course, this is in a movie.
To je seveda v filmu.
But he is a character who is good at plotting and doing evil, stealing.
Toda on je lik, ki je dober v načrtovanju in delanju zla in kraja.
But he is also an adoptive father of 3 little girls.
Toda prav tako je tudi posvojil 3 mala dekleta.
And it's quite incompatible with his job of being the villain.
Kar je zelo nezdružljivo z njegovim delom, poslom, da je zlobnež.
Because he has to be patient, nice, kind to his children.
Kajti svojimi otroki mora biti prijazen, ljubezniv, potrpežljiv.
And so the story goes in the movie that eventually Mr. Despicable actually becomes a good, caring, dead Gru.
In zgodba v tem filmu se odvije tako, da ta gospod Baraba postane na koncu dobrodušen oče Gru.
And when I first saw the movie, I thought, Mr. Despicable is a good example for many villains in the Bible.
In ko sem prvič videl ta film, sem si rekel, ta gospod Baraba je dober primer za številne zlobneže v Svetem pismu.
The Bible is full of villains like Gru.
Namreč Sveto pismo je prepolno likov, kot je Gru.
And actually those who become good people at the end.
In tudi takih, ki na koncu postanejo dobri.
All right. How good is your knowledge of villains? I mean now super villains in the Bible.
Kako dobro poznate zlobneže, super zlobneže v Svetem pismu?
What do you think? Who is the villain number 1 in the Bible?
Kdo je zlobnež številka 1 v Svetem pismu, po vašem mnenju?
That's a somewhat cool question. Who?
Satan.
Satan. Okay, from people.
Ampak glejmo zdaj ljudi. Nabal?
Jezabel. Close, not quite.
Blizu, ampak ne. Little horn.
People.
Ljudje, samo ljudi. Ljudi opisane v Svetem pismu.
Particular characters, not just
Torej,
descriptions.
konkretne značaje, ne opis.
Saul.
Savel, Pavel, on govori o sebi.
There are worse people than him in the Bible.
So še hujši ljudje v Svetem pismu kot je on.
You don't know supervillains very well.
Ne poznate zelo dobro zlobneža, ali kaj?
Ne.
Ne. Ima vse, ja. Pa Zvone je bil blizu, da vam pomagam.
Okay. In all seriousness,
Čisto resno,
the top evildoer, the top supervillain of the Bible,
največji zlobnež Svetega pisma
comfortably is this. King Ahab.
kralj Ahab.
He is like Gru of the Bible.
On je kot gru Svetega pisma.
And his story is told in Kings. You have there 16, 29, 22, 40.
Prva kraljeva 16 do 22 govori o njegovi zgodbi.
How do I know? How do we know that he is the top evildoer?
Kako vemo, da je največji zlobnež Svetega pisma?
Because, I'll give you maybe 3 points. Because firstly, the amount of space he is given is just uncomparable to any other king.
Prvič, količina prostora, ki mu je namenjena v Svetem pismu, je neprimerljiva s katerim koli drugim kraljem.
For example,
Naprimer,
you have the kings who precede him,
tukaj imamo kralje, ki so bili pred njim.
and so these are the kings of Israel. I think the most ones who reign the most, sorry, not only those who precede him.
Ne le tisti, ki so bili tik pred njim, ampak tisti, ki so najdlje vladali.
So the longest serving were 41 years, Jeroboam II.
Jeroboam II je bil najdlje vladajoči, 41 let.
Then you have Jehu, 28 years.
Jehu 28,
Baasha, 24 years.
Bašat 24, Jeroboam I 22,
Ahab, only 22 years.
Ahab samo 22 let.
But then look at the space in the Bible there.
Ampak poglejte, koliko prostora je komu namenjeno v Svetem pismu.
So, 41 years of reign of Jeroboam II gets barely half the chapter.
41 let vladavine Jeroboama II ima na voljo le polovico poglavja.
Jehu, okay.
Jehu.
Only 28 years, but 2 chapters.
28 let, vendar 2 poglavja.
Baasha, 24, half the chapter.
24 let Baša, polovica poglavja.
Jeroboam I, who really was the evil king, beginning the evil line of kings.
Jeroboam I, ki je res bil zloben kralj, začel to linijo zlobnih kraljev.
So given his importance that he's the first evil king, he gets 3.5 chapters.
Njegova pomembnost pri tem mu namenja 3,5 poglavja.
7, Ahab.
Ahab 7 poglavij.
Even when you combine together all these chapters, it's about 6.5.
Če ostala združite, pridete na dobrih 6,5.
So, the Bible wants you to notice Ahab.
Sveto pismo torej želi, da opazimo Ahaba.
Secondly,
Drugič,
his importance is also highlighted in the fact that he is
njegova pomembnost je poudarjena tudi s tem, da je
seventh king in the northern kingdom. The first Jeroboam,
7. kralj v severnem kraljestvu. Prvi je Jeroboam,
Nadab to
Nadab.
Baasha, Elah, Zimri, Omri, and you have Ahab.
Ela, Zimri, Omri in Ahab.
And the number 7, when you have the 7th, you know, so you read, so it nicely follows when you read the whole story in the first Kings.
Ko imate številko 7 in to nekako sledi iz tega, ko berete celo zgodbo v prvi kralju,
7, you know, you begin to pay attention because the Bible plays with these numbers 10, 7, 7th.
začnete temu posvečati pozornost, ker Sveto pismo večkrat omenja to 7, 7.
And so this is the map which is coming up. You have a divided kingdom at the time. So you have Judah, the kings of David rule here, they are mostly faithful.
Tu imamo Judo, kralji Davidove linije so tukaj vladali večinoma zvesti Bogu.
But then Israel is the 10 tribes, they go away from David.
Izrael pa je 10 plemen, ki se oddalijo od Davida.
They start with Jeroboam,
Začnejo z Jeroboamom
and then Ahab is the 7th there.
in Ahab je tam 7.
So point number 3 maybe why he deserves the spot.
Točka številka 3, zakaj si zasluži to mesto, prvo mesto,
Because when the Bible introduces him,
Ko ga svetopismo predstavlja,
it says this, verse 30.
pravi tako, 30.
31.
vrsta in 31.
So now Ahab the son of Omri did evil in the sight of the Lord more than those who were before him. And it came to pass as though it had been a trivial thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam. That's enough.
Omrijev sin Ahab je delal, kar je hudo v Gospodovih očeh, slabši je bil od vseh, ki so bili pred njim. Kot da ni bilo dovolj že to, da je hodil v grehih Nebatovega sina Jeroboama.
A trivial thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam.
Kot da ni bilo dovolj že to, ali kot pravi, kot da je to bila neka trivialna stvar, da je počel te stvari, ki jih je Jeroboam počel.
What you have to know, there are two benchmarkings in the Old Testament.
V stari zavezi imamo dva mejnika, pomembna.
One, a benchmarking for goodness and for evil.
And-
for goodness is David, and for evil is Jeroboam the first.
Mejnik ali pa eno znamenje dobrega je David, na drugi strani imamo znamenje ali sliko zla, to je Jeroboam.
So if the king wants to say, this king ruled well, was a good king, they would say, this king did all good, just like his father.
In če nekdo hotel povedati, da je kralj vladal dobro in delal dobre reči, je rekel, in ta kralj je delal tako, kot je delal njegov oče David.
Or if they want to say, this king did all the evil, then they would reference, and he walked in the evil ways of Jeroboam.
Če pa bi hoteli povedati drugo, nasprotno, se pravi, hodil je po vseh Jeroboamovih poteh.
So David and Jeroboam are benchmarkings, who say goodness or evil.
In David in Jeroboam sta tista dva mejnika za dobro in za slabo.
Here comes the supervillain.
Tukaj
Ahab.
pride super zlobnež Ahab
What Jeroboam did was just something small, trivial.
in beremo o tem, da to, kar je Jeroboam počel, je bilo nekaj majhnega, nepomembnega.
So you see, the Bible basically gives you clues immediately. Look out, here is a really evil person.
Svetopismo vam nemudoma daje namige, bodite pozorni, tukaj je res hudobna oseba.
I wouldn't want to live under his government.
Jaz si ne bi želel živeti pod njegovo
I
vladavino.
wouldn't want my children to be raised under his rule.
Niti da bi moji otroci odraščali v času, ko je on vladal.
Because he established the worship of Baal as state religion,
On je vzpostavil čaščenje Bala kot državno vero,
practiced divination, witchcraft, built pillars and idols to all sorts of deities,
prakticiral čarovništvo in gradil oltarje različnim božanstvom,
worshipped heavenly bodies,
častil nebeška telesa
and with his evil wife Jezabel, they promoted children sacrifices.
in skupaj s svojo hudobno ženo Izabelo promoviral žrtvovanje otrok.
If you want to read his proud list of evil things he's done, read 2 Kings 17.
Če želite prebrati njegov ponosni seznam zlobnih del, ki jih je storil, berite 2. Kraljev 17.
There you have a kind of summary, retrospective description of the evil of Ahab.
Tam imate povzetek Ahabovega zla.
So, because Ahab is such a big supervillain, heavyweight supervillain,
Ker je Ahab torej tako velik zlobnež težke kategorije,
God will send a heavyweight messenger to him.
Bog pošilja težko kategorniškega poslanca k njemu,
Elijah.
Elija.
And he just appears bang in chapter 17, out of the blue.
In Elija se pojavi nenadoma v 17. poglavju, kot strela z jasnega.
Right? He is quite a heavy prophet.
On je
Serious.
precej resen prerok, pomemben.
So, now, what does God do with evil people like Ahab?
Kaj Bog počne s hudobnimi ljudmi, kot je Ahab?
That's a really good question.
To je dobro vprašanje.
What do you think he does?
Kaj mislite, da naredi? He wants to turn them toward him.
And how?
Kako Bog želi obrniti nekoga k
Sometimes
sebi?
we have, it's a very good point you are making, because sometimes we think immediately, he just needs to punch them.
Včasih pomislimo, Bog mora samo udariti in vse je končano. That's just like
When I read this story, and especially 2 Kings 17, the chapter which summarizes evil,
Ko beremo to zgodbo in še posebej 17. poglavje druge kraljev, torej povzetek tega zla,
I sometimes wish, please God, send the warplanes quickly to Ahab's land.
si včasih zaželim, Gospod, hitro pošli kakšnega bombnika v Ahabovo deželo.
Honestly, that's my human response.
To je moj človeški odziv.
Is this God's response?
Je to Božji odziv?
Are there warplanes coming?
Ali prihajajo bombniki?
Oh yeah, they are.
O da, prihajajo.
So, let's have a look. So if you follow the narrative,
Če sledite pripovedi,
we don't have quite time because the narrative with everything else is in several chapters.
sama pripoved se razteza čez več poglavij.
After reading about all the evil,
Ko berete o vsem zlu,
I really want to see some action against Ahab to be taken.
si resnično želim,
Because,
da se zgodi nekaj.
because I'm so sorry for all the innocent children and people living there.
Ker mi je tako žal za vse nedolžne otroke in ljudi, ki
And
živijo
does
tam.
God send the warplanes?
In ali Bog pošilja bombnike?
Oh, he does.
O da, jih.
And I'm so happy
In jaz sem tako vesel,
as a reader of the text.
kot bralec tega besedila.
Ben-Hadad,
Ben Hadad.
he has good warplanes.
On ima dobra letala,
The best army at the time.
najboljšo vojsko v tistem času.
So if you can read this Margot, verse 1. Yeah.
Aramski kralj Ben Hadad je zbral vso svojo vojsko. Z njim je bilo 32 kraljev s konji in z bojnimi vozmi. Šel je okoli v Samarijo in jo napadal.
Now we're talking.
Zdaj govorimo o pravih stvarih.
Not only the strongest army,
Ne samo najmočnejša vojska,
United States of Assyria,
Združene države Asirije,
but you have 32, the coalition of 32.
ampak imate koalicijo 32 držav.
And so, verse 2
Vrsta 2. V mesto
and 3 and 4.
je poslal poslance k Izraelovemu kralju Ahabu. Rekel mu je, tako pravi Ben Hadad, tvoje srebro in tvoje zlato je moje, tvoje žene in tvoji najboljši otroci so tudi moji. Izraelov kralj je odgovoril in rekel, kakor ukazuješ, moj gospod kralj, tvoj sem z vsem, kar imam.
He's in trouble, Ahab.
Ahab je v težavah.
But, okay, so in the text when we read, he says,
Besedilu, ko beremo,
okay, I'll give you something.
Ahab pravi, dobro, bom ti dal nekaj.
But he doesn't want to give everything.
Ampak ne želi dati vsega.
And so he's in serious trouble.
In zato je v resnih težavah.
So surely the supervillain will be punished now by God.
Zagotovo bo Bog kaznoval tega super zlobneža.
So if we go to 1 Kings 20:12 onwards, so this is 1 Kings 20:12 to 14.
Prva kraljev 20, 12 do 14, ko je on slišal ta odgovor, kralj je ravno popival v šotorišču, je rekel svojim služabnikom, postavite se. In postavili so se proti mestu. A glej, k Izraelovemu kralju Ahabu je prišel neki prerok in rekel, tako govoriš, Gospod, ali vidiš vso to velikansko množico? Glej, danes jo bom dal v tvoje roke, da spoznaš, da sem jaz Gospod. Ahab je rekel, po kom? Rekel je, tako govori Gospod, po mladih bojevnikih, pokrajinskih poglavarjev. Na to je rekel, kdo naj začne boj? Rekel je, ti.
Well, I don't know, but maybe my eyes are not very well today, but I see that the prophet is coming.
Mogoče nekaj ni v redu z mojim vidom danes, ampak tukaj vidim, da prihaja
And
prerok.
he's asking Ahab, did you see this multitude around you?
Sprašuje Ahaba, vidiš to množico, ki te obdaja?
How can I miss it?
Kako lahko spregleda človek nekaj takega?
So, I will deliver you from them.
In Bog pravi, jaz te bom rešil pred njim.
What?
Kaj?
The evil king will be delivered when he finally could be punished and some people delivered in his land.
Zlobni kralj bo rešen, ko pa bi končno lahko bil kaznovan in rešeni ljudje v njegovi državi.
You read in the text a little bit further from verse 16 how You know, when you have a big coalition, like Ben-Hadad had,
16. vrste potem beremo recimo o tem, kako, ko imate veliko koalicijo, kot je imel Ben-Hadad,
you prepare for war,
pripravljate se za vojno,
but you also have to entertain your guests.
ampak morate tudi zabavati svoje goste.
So they're going to drinking.
In zato so šli pit.
And anyway, then there was deliverance, basically.
In potem beremo o tej rešitvi.
And from verse 19, you have how young leaders from provinces, they came out and then basically destroyed this coalition.
In potem beremo od 19. vrste naprej, kako so ti mladi bojevniki iz različnih provinc prišli in uničili to koalicijo.
And I just can't believe as a reader
Kot bralec ne morem verjeti,
that Ahab is so close to be sorted out, slapped on his face, and he gets away.
da je Ahab tako blizu tega, da je kaznovan.
But you know what? He is not only he's not punished, but he also is victorious.
Ampak ni kaznovan, temveč zmaga.
So we have to read on.
Zato moramo brati naprej.
How is God dealing with this villain?
Kako Bog ravna s tem zlobnežem?
Well, you know what? He wasn't getting better, and so the warplanes come back again.
Ahab se ni nič poboljšal, zato so se bombniki znova vrnili.
And this is chapter 20 from 23 onwards.
In to je 20. poglavje od 23. vrstice naprej.
So the servants of the king of Syria said that their gods are gods of the hills. Therefore they were stronger than we, but we fight against them in the plain. Surely we will be stronger than them.
Aramskemu kralju pa so njegovi služabniki rekli, njihov bog je gorski bog, zato so bili močnejši od nas, a če se bomo z njimi bojevali na ravnem, bomo gotovo močnejši od njih.
Verse 26, so they went to war.
26. vrsta, šli so v boj.
And the children, 27, and the children of Israel encamped before them like two little flocks of goats, while the Syrians filled the countryside.
In pravi besedilo, da so se Izraelci utaborili nasproti njim kakor dve majhni čredi kos, Aramci pa so napolnili deželo.
Here comes the prophet second time.
Prerok pride drugič.
And so says, let me tell you the word of the God.
Naj ti povem, kaj pravi Gospod.
No, not again.
Ne, spet.
And it says, verse 28, right? Thus says the Lord, because the Syrians have said, the Lord is the God of the hills, but he is not the God of the valleys. Therefore I will deliver all this multitude, great multitude, into your hand, and you shall know that I am.
Tako govori Gospod, ker so Aramci rekli, da je Gospod gorski bog, ne pa dolinski, ti dajem v roke vso to velikansko množico, da spoznate, da sem jaz Gospod.
And so, not only he is not punished again, but he is victorious. Verse 29, the end of it.
Ne, da spet ni kaznovan Ahab, ampak spet zmaga.
The children of Israel killed 100,000 foot soldiers.
Besedilo pravi v 29. vrsti, da so Izraelci v enem dnevu pobili med Aramci 100,000 pešcev.
But the rest of them fled somewhere else.
Ostali pa so pobegnili nekam drugam.
Oh, Ahab and Jezebel are despicable monarchs.
Ahab in Jezabela sta resnično hudobna, prezira vredna monarha.
Yet when God has a chance to remove them from power, he does not do it.
Toda, ko ima Bog priložnost, da jo odstrani iz položaja moči, tega ne naredi.
You know, on one hand, God is showing his thundery side to Ben-Hadad.
Bog po eni strani kaže svojo močno stran Ben-Hadadu.
He's utterly crushing them.
Popolnoma porazi vojsko, razbije.
But on the other hand, he is showing his very quiet side to Ahab.
Po drugi strani pa kaže svojo tiho plat Ahabu.
You know, it's very interesting that even Ben-Hadad knows that God of Israel is a merciful God.
Zanimivo je, da celo Ben-Hadad ve, da je Bog Izraela usmiljeni Bog.
So when Ahab finds him,
Ko ga Ahab najde,
which is in chapter 20 from 31 onwards,
kar beremo v 20. poglavju od 31. vrstice naprej,
he is pleading with Ahab because he trusts that the God of Israel is merciful.
se on pogaja, prosi za milost Ahaba, ker veruje, da je Bog Izraela milostljiv Bog.
And what does our good supervillain do?
In kaj naredi naš super zlobnež?
From verse 34.
Od 34. vrste, on mu je rekel, mesta, ki jih je moj oče vzel tvojemu očetu, ti bom vrnil. Lahko si boš tudi postavil trgovine v Damasku, kakor jih je moj oče postavil v Samariji. Ahab pa je rekel, s to pogodbo te izpustim. Sklenil je torej z njim pogodbo in ga izpustil.
He does good business.
Naredil je dober posel.
That's all he cares about. His benefits.
Zato mu je mar, za njegove prednosti.
He hasn't changed his nature a bit. Those two, the deliverances of God.
Ahabova narava se ni spremenila niti malo. Te dve odrešitvi, ki je Bog storil,
You know, just give me access to your market.
sta bile samo, daj mi pristop do tvojega trga.
I let you live. Give me back what you took away. Give me access to your Damascus.
Daj mi dostop do Damaska in vrni tisto, kar si mi vzel,
We'll make a business deal.
pa bo naredila posel.
All is fine.
Vse v redu.
He's a supervillain.
A on je super zlobnež.
All right. So what happens now?
Kaj se torej zgodi zdaj?
How does God deal with villains?
Kako Bog ravna s temi zlobneži?
So he sends the prophet again.
Spet pošle preroka.
And this is from verse 41.
In potem imamo od 41. vrste napisano.
The prophet tells him something, so we can read the text, 41 to 43.
Ta pa si je hitro snel povoj z oči in Izraelov kralj ga je spoznal, da je izmed prerokov. Rekel mu je, tako govori Gospod, ker si izpustil iz rok moža, ki je predmet moje zakletve, bo tvoje življenje cena za njegovo življenje in tvoje ljudstvo za njegovo ljudstvo. In Izraelov kralj je šel domov, nevoljen in jezen in prišel v Samarijo.
You know, this is quite amazing here.
Tukaj je res nekaj osupljivega.
Because Ahab and Jezebel are really evil, and Israel is evil kingdom.
Ahab in Jezabela sta hudobna in Izrael je hudobno kraljestvo.
And God still thinks about the future of Israel when one day Assyria would become so strong it will take them completely over.
Bog pa še vedno razmišlja o prihodnosti Izraela in o tem, kako bo Asirija nekega dne postala tako močna, da bo zavzela Izrael.
And here providing Ahab an opportunity for Assyria not to develop into a strong nation.
In Ahabu ponuja priložnost za to, da se Asirija ne razvije v močen narod.
He could have avoided the exile.
Lahko bi se tukaj v tej točki izognil ujetništvu kasneje.
But all he cares about is his gain.
Ampak Ahabu je mar samo za njegov dobiček.
In 722 BC, about 150 years from this time,
Leta 722 pred Kristusom, 150 let pozneje od tega trenutka,
Israel will be completely destroyed by Assyria.
bodo Asirci popolnoma uničili Izrael.
They will take them into captivity from which they will never come back.
Odpeljali jih bodo v ujetništvo, iz katerega se nikoli ne bodo vrnili.
And you know what? Ahab, the supervillain, had a chance to do something about this.
In Ahab, ta super zlobnež, je imel priložnost nekaj narediti glede tega.
God does not use the hand of Ben-Hadad to punish him, to remove him, because God has a far larger vision for his people Israel.
Bog ni uporabil Ben-Hadada zato, da bi kaznoval Ahaba, ker ima veliko širšo vizijo za Izraela, kot je to.
So he is so gracious with Ahab and providing him a chance to stop the evil in Assyria.
Tako usmiljen je z Ahabom in ponuja mu priložnost, da ustavi zlo v Siriji.
But it didn't happen.
To, da ni se zgodilo,
He acted predictably.
odzval se je predvidljivo,
He was not like the villain in the movie Despicable. No, it's Despicable.
ni bil kot ta zlobnež v filmu Jaz Baraba.
Ahab didn't become the caring father of Israel.
Ahab ni postal skrbni oče Izraela.
But, you know, being a villain, villains are not easily satisfied.
Zlobnežev se ne da zlahka zadovoljiti.
They want always more.
Vedno želijo več.
And he is really a pitiful villain, Ahab.
In Ahab je res pomilovanja vreden zlobnež.
Because after he gains access to Damascus and gets everything back,
Ker potem, ko je dobil dostop do Damaska in ko je povrnil vse,
one day he is in his palace.
nekega dne je bil v svoji palači.
And he's walking out and he sees this vineyard.
In hodil je in potem vidi en vinograd,
It's not his.
ni njegov.
He says, I want it.
In je rekel, jaz hočem to.
Just got all the land back.
Vso zemljo je dobil nazaj,
I want that vineyard.
ampak hočem ta vinograd.
And so he is unhappy.
In je nesrečen.
So his wife Jezabel comes.
Pride njegova žena
I'll
Izabela,
take care of it.
ne skrbi, jaz bom poskrbela za to.
And you know the famous story of the neighbor's vineyard.
In potem poznate znamenito zgodbo o Nabotovem vinogradu.
So he first tries to buy it from him. He doesn't want to sell it.
Prva poskuša kupiti ta vinograd, ta ga noče prodati.
And so he is very sad and Jezabel eventually kills off.
Zelo žalosten je Ahab za to in Izabela preprosto ubije Nabota.
And he is happy.
In Ahab je srečen.
The fact that he was killed off, it's not his, but he takes it over. He doesn't care.
Njemu je povsem vseeno, kako je prišel do tega.
One life here and there.
Eno življenje tukaj ali tam.
Here comes the king, the prophet, I mean.
Spet pride prerok.
So, 21 from 17.
21. poglavje od 17. vrstice naprej.
This is the climax.
To je vrhunec.
You can read verse 17 to 19. Yes?
Tedaj se je Tišpejcu Eliju zgodila Gospodova beseda rekoč, vstani in pojdi nasproti Ahabu, Izraelovemu kralju, ki je v Samariji. Glej, v Nabotovem vinogradu je, kamor je šel, da ga vzame v last. Govori mu, tako govori Gospod, zagrešil si umor, bi rad tudi dedoval? Govori mu in reci, tako govori Gospod, na mesto, kjer so psi lizali Nabotovo kri, bodo lizali tudi tvojo kri.
So, wasn't it enough that I gave you all this victory? You are so pitiful that you want to take from a small man his land.
Ali ni dovolj, da sem ti vrnil vse nazaj?
You can't,
Ti si hotel vzeti nekaj od tega človeka.
you can't go deeper.
Ne moreš globlje več.
20 to 22. You can read.
Ahab je rekel Eliju, si me našel, moj sovražnik? Rekel je, našel, ker si se prodal, da si storil, kar je hudo v Gospodovih očeh. Glej, spravil bom nesrečo nate, pometel bom s tabo in iztrebil iz Ahabovega rodu vse moške, mladoletne in polnoletne v Izraelu. S tvojo hišo bom naredil, kakor s hišo Nebatovega sina Jeroboama in kakor s hišo Ahijevega sina Bašaja, ker si me razjezil in zapeljal Izraela v greh.
Wow, now we talk in judgment.
Zdaj govorimo o sodbi.
Your line will be killed off.
Tvoja linija bo uničena.
25, 26.
25. Res ni bilo nikogar, ki bi se bil prodal kako Ahab in delal, kar je hudo v Gospodovih očeh. Zapeljala ga je njegova žena Jezabela. Sorry, I don't have 26.
And he behaved very abominable.
Prav gnusno se je pregrešil, ko je šel za Maliki, prav kakor so delali Amorejci, katere je Gospod pregnal izpred Izraelovih sinov.
Okay. So God has been acting mercifully,
Bog je
patiently,
deloval usmiljeno, potrpežljivo,
overlooking the sins, the evil of Ahab, right? Bearing with him.
spregledal je Ahabove grehe.
Even though I, as the reader, would want God to act stronger with him. from the beginning.
Čeprav bi jaz kot bralec želel, da bi Bog ravnal bolj odločno z njim.
But now comes the word I, a human reader, wants to see.
Ampak zdaj pride tista beseda, ki jo jaz kot človeški bralec želim slišati.
Except
Razen
27:28.
27 in 28. Ko je Ahab slišal te besede, si je pretrgal oblačila, si nadel raševino na golo telo in se postil, spal v raševini in hodil po trg. Tišpejcu Eliju se je tedaj zgodila Gospodova beseda, rekoč 29.
29.
Si videl, kako se je Ahab ponižal pred menoj? Ker se je ponižal pred mano, ne bom pripeljal nesreče v njegovih dneh. V dneh njegovega sina bom pripeljal nesrečo nad njegovo hišo.
I can't believe what I just read here.
Ne morem verjeti, kaj piše tukaj.
I thought God's kindness, patience, grace was in vain.
Mislil sem, da je Božja potrpežljivost, ljubeznivost, njegova dobrota za manj.
Somehow, the third visit of the prophet made a difference with Ahab.
Nekako je ta tretji obisk preroka prinesel razliko v Ahabovo življenje.
He tore his clothes, which is a sign of his turning, right, change of mind. He says,
Raztrgal je svoje oblačila, kar je znamenje njegove spremembe,
which is
spreobrnjenja.
symbolically, you torn apart your life.
Kar simbolično pomeni, kot da raztrgate svoje življenje.
And he's basically crying to God.
In kliče k Bogu, vpije k njemu.
And if you don't believe that actually there is something deeper going on in Ahab's thinking,
In če ne verjamete, da se v Ahabovem načinu razmišljanja res dogaja nekaj globokega,
maybe just like Elijah didn't believe it,
tako kot tudi Elija tega ni verjel,
the word of the Lord had to come to Elijah
je beseda Gospoda morala priti k Eliju
and tell him the divine, God's interpretation of what's going on with Ahab.
in mu povedati Božjo razlago tega, kar se dogaja z Ahabom.
Only God can say, you have humble hearts, you humbled yourself. Only you know and God knows. I don't know, you can pretend to be humble.
Samo Bog je tisti, ki lahko reče, ti si ponižal svoje srce, samo On ve in vi, ne morem jaz soditi o tem.
We can pretend.
Mi se lahko pretvarjamo, da smo ponižni.
But this is God's verdict saying, he indeed has humbled himself in his heart.
Toda to je Božja razsodba, res je ponižal svoje srce.
And so the judgment is postponed.
In sodba je odložena.
It says, it's not going to happen in your days. Go back to him.
Ne bo se zgodilo v njegovih dneh, pojdi in mu to povej.
What is happening here is an illustration of Deuteronomy 30.
To, kar se dogaja tukaj, je ilustracija 5. Mojzesove 30.
It's an illustration of Romans 1-3.
Ilustracija Rimljanom 1-3.
We do shuv, we do turning to God, even though we are evil as hell.
Mi naredimo šuv, mi se obrnemo k Bogu, čeprav smo hudobni kot sam pekel.
He's not trying to hide, somehow make an argument. Actually, it's not like this. He just says, I am evil, that's it, Lord.
Tu ne gre za skrivanje, tu ne gre za prikrivanje, argumentiranje, ampak gre za priznanje. Jaz sem hudoben, Gospod.
He was mourning. He fasted and there was mourning.
Žaloval je, pustil se je.
And God saw this turning.
In Bog je videl ta obrat, to
Maybe it
spremembo.
was very immature, very basic, I don't know.
Mogoče je to bilo videti zelo nezrelo, zelo osnovno.
But God says he has humbled himself.
Ampak Bog je rekel, on se je ponižal.
I wish God could say about this about me.
Želim si, da bi Bog to lahko rekel zame.
So the moral is this: if God can change the heart of Mr. Despicable, he
Nauk
can
je,
change anybody's heart.
nauk je torej ta, če Bog lahko spremeni srce gospoda Barabe, lahko spremeni srce vsakogar.
This is the text in Deuteronomy that we have mentioned. And
To je besedilo v 5. Mojzesovi, ki smo ga omenjali.
it speaks about turning to God.
In govori o obračanju k Bogu.
It speaks about heart.
Govori o srcu.
It speaks about God having compassion
Govori o Bogu, ki ima usmiljenje.
and God being able to circumcise our hearts.
In o Bogu, ki lahko obreže naše srce.
In the Hebrew text, the word shuv is 7 times there.
V hebrejskem besedilu 7-krat najdemo besedo šuv.
The word heart is 10 times in Hebrew.
Beseda srce 10-krat v hebrejščini.
And 11 times the word God, Lord, Yahweh.
In 11-krat beseda Gospod Bog, Gospod Jahve.
It just tells you what is the emphasis. Turn to God. And it's a hard business.
Ki vam preprosto vse to skupaj pove, kaj je bistvo. Obrni se k Bogu. In to je vprašanje srca.
And the only ground on which this can work is that God is simply gracious. He recognizes this.
In edini temelj, na katerem to lahko deluje, je ta, da Bog je milostljiv.
So, the story of Ahab is a life commentary on this text.
Ahabova zgodba je življenjski komentar na to besedilo.
The great news is this: if God can touch him
Velika in dobra novica je ta, da če se Bog lahko dotakne njega
and does a turn in his heart,
in spremeni njegovo srce,
he can touch anybody's heart.
se lahko dotakne srca vsakega človeka.
And Ahab could not do this thing for himself.
In Ahab tega ni mogel narediti sam zase.
No human could do this thing for him.
Noben človek ni mogel tega narediti za njega.
And the gospel is that only God can do these things.
In evangelij pravi, da samo Bog lahko naredi te stvari.
And you know, strangely, he doesn't do it by force, but by massive amounts of compassion.
In kar je nenavadno, je, da Bog tega ne naredi na silo, ampak z izjemno količino usmiljenja.
I don't know how to tell you this, but somehow God's goodness, patience, mercy and compassion is his most powerful weapon he has against evil.
Na nek način je Božja dobrota, potrpežljivost, usmiljenje, njegovo sočutje najbolj močno orožje, ki ga ima v boju proti zlu.
This is how God acts with villains.
Tako Bog
How he
ravna
deals with villains.
z zlobneži.
And believe it or not, the story of Ahab, the story of the mystic despicable of the Bible, is where the gospel shines the most.
In verjeli to ali ne, ampak zgodba o Ahabu, zgodba o tem svetopisemskem gospodu Barabi je zgodba, v kateri evangelij najbolj sije.
Don't be surprised if Jesus comes second time and there will be resurrection, that there will be somebody who say, "Hello, my name is Jan, I'm Ahab."
Ne bodite presenečeni, če po Jezusovem prihodu in vstajenju se pojavi nekdo, ki reče, moje ime je Ahab.
I don't know,
Ne vem,
but it's an amazing end to his story.
ampak to je osupljiva stvar v tej zgodbi.
Okay, I think that's enough. So
Mislim, da smo s tem prišli do konca.
you get the point. Judgment is very good news, and the way God acts with us in judgment is to try to justify, provide vindication for his people.
Sporočilo je, da je sodba zelo dobra novica
And he,
in da Bog želi skozi sodbo upravičiti svoje ljudstvo.
and he will do everything possible with his patience, compassion, love to actually get even the evilest of villain to pass the judgment with vindicated.
In da bo zaradi svojega usmiljenja in svojim usmiljenjem, potrpežljivostjo in ljubeznijo naredil vse, da bi tudi največjega zlobneža opravičil.
I thank you very much for your patience. I hope this made sense to you. It was my great privilege to be among you and to share this with you.
Hvala za vašo potrpežljivost. Upam, da je vse to smiselno za vas in moja velika prednost je bila, da sem lahko bil z vami.
So all I can say at the end, God bless you.
Vse, kar lahko rečem na koncu, je naj vas Bog blagoslovi.
And walk in faith, as Paul says.
In hodite v veri, kot pravi apostol Pavel.
Today, tomorrow.
Danes in jutri.
And we should then look forward to the future.
In potem se lahko veselimo prihodnosti.
May God bless you.
Naj vas Bog blagoslovi. Verjamem, da smo bili blagoslovljeni skozi ta proučevanja v teh 2 dneh. Res je bilo strnjeno. Seveda, za več časa bi obdelali stvari, lahko še mogoče bolj podrobno povedali še več stvari. Ampak tudi to vse, kar smo slišali in kar je bilo dano, je dovolj, da okrepi našo vero, da jo usmeri v pravi smeri in da nam razjasni stvari, ki jih moramo razumeti, zato da bi lahko živeli skladno z naukom in sporočilom Svetega pisma. In zato bi se rad zahvalil našemu predavatelju za čas, ki ga je vložil v to, za čas, ki ga je preživel ločeno od svoje družine, v vsem delu, ki je, verjamem, da bi mu bilo v užitek biti sedaj tudi doma s svojimi bližnjimi, a vendarle je prišel, se odzval našemu povabilu in hvala za to. Thank you, Jan, for your time, being away from your family. So we would like to give you a small present for you. You said that you like Slovenia, and this is the kind of book that will help you appreciate it more, because you wouldn't be able at this time to see it. Thank you for the blessings you brought.
Thank you
Yes.
for inviting me and giving
It
me
was
the
a
chance to
pleasure.
speak.
Thank you. Jaz vas bi povabil, da ostanemo, zaključimo z molitvijo in potem bi dal še nekaj obvestil. Can you play, please?
Our loving Heavenly Father,
Naš ljubeznivi nebeški Oče,
we come this afternoon as well before you,
tudi danes popoldan prihajamo pred Tebe.
and we come with thankfulness, with happiness in our hearts as well,
S hvaležnostjo in z veseljem v svojem srcu.
because your gospel should bring happiness and joy to those who know your gospel.
Ker Tvoj evangelij mora prinesti veselje tistim, ki ga poznajo.
It brings liberation to our hearts, to our thoughts.
Prinaša osvoboditev našim mislim in našemu srcu.
And even though we live surrounded by evil in this world,
In čeprav živimo obdani zlom v tem svetu,
we can through your word glimpse a better world that is awaiting for us.
lahko skozi Tvojo besedo pokukamo v boljši svet, ki nas pričakuje.
Lord, I pray for the people who came, for the people who couldn't come, who will watch this.
Gospod, molim za ljudi, ki so prišli danes sem, kot za tiste, ki niso mogli priti in bodo si to ogledali.
May you bless them in their understanding. May you lead them with your spirit.
Blagoslovi jih v njihovem razumevanju in jih vodi s Tvojim duhom.
I ask for health, for strength to those who need it in this church in Slovenia, and may the church be a great light to the surrounding culture in which they live.
Prosim te za zdravje in za moč za tiste, ki to potrebujejo tukaj v cerkvi v Sloveniji. Naj bo cerkev tukaj velik in pozitiven vpliv v okolju, v katerem živimo.
Thank you for the faith that you gave your church, and thank you for the hope as well you gave to your church.
Hvala ti za vero, ki si jo dal svoji cerkvi in zaupanje, ki ga daješ.
And we commit ourselves to your hands,
Izročamo se v Tvoje roke.
and we commit our families, commit everything we do to your hands, and with thankfulness we give you praise.
Svoje družine in vse, kar delamo, izročamo v Tvoje roke in ti izražamo hvaležnost.
Thank you for everything, Lord.
Hvala ti za vse, Gospod.
In the name of Jesus.
V Jezusovem imenu.
Amen.
Amen.